Each week, nearly a dozen movies are released theatrically. 40 films a month, more than 400 a year. That's a plethora of cinema. Too much cinema. You'd have to be an addict to see all that. But don't fret. We've got you covered. This is Cinematics.
Hey everyone, it's another week of Cinematics. New week covering the week of May, what is it, Eric Holmes? May 17th or May 24th? Yes, Friday, May 24th, 2024. Movies that are either coming out in theaters or on digital on demand May 24th. We are cheating a little bit this week. We are covering actual movies that actually came out May 21st. So let's just call it, we're covering movies for the week, new movies for the week of Friday, May 24th, 2024. How's it been for you, Eric Holmes, as far as the last week of covering movies and doing interviews? It's been a blur. Look back, what do you think?
Yeah, it did a couple interviews. One for a movie we'll talk about next week, or miniseries, I guess. But also did some work with Anderson for his new short, doing titles, which is an incredibly tedious process. But it's like, you know, when you do like something that's real tedious, but like the end result is really cool. So like the tedium just goes away, like from your memory. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of things go away from my memory, but yeah, it's been a fun process.
Eric, Anderson left us from Cinematics. Why are you still giving him the time of day? Bruce, do you understand this? Why he's helping Anderson count out? Are you, what? Bruce?
I absolutely understand that. Grudges, hold them. Hold them to your heart.
Eric, what's going on here? Bruce and I'm speaking for Bruce because he was talking to me that Anderson should not be a part of Cinematic. What are you doing, man? Eric?
Oh, Anderson's great. We all know that. We would all give him a big hug if he was here right now.
How's the short coming along so far? You're doing the titles?
I've only seen the early cut of it because I'm just doing the titles. So the only thing I need to see is like the opening part where the opening titles come in. And then I'm doing like the end part with the scrolling credits, like that thing. The cut I seen looked really good and looking forward to a bunch of people watching it. And when it does come out, might want to pay attention to the end credits because there may be an Easter egg or 3 or 4 in there.
Oh, very cool. Did you put them yourself or did I know? Yeah, I guess you can't say it. It would be an Easter egg if you actually reveal, right? What?
Yeah, I'm not going to say what. A couple people know what they are because I had their credits. So it goes next to their name. I'm like, is this cool? Is this cool? Yeah. Okay. I'm leaving it. But
okay. So this is Eric Holmes doing work on the Loaded for Bear documentary directed by our comrade, our buddy, Anderson Cowan, co-creator of
Cinematics. That we hold a giant grudge against.
Yes, Anderson, if you're listening, F you in your documentary. I don't even, loaded for, you know what? I got something loaded for you. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations, Anderson. And when you have really wonderful people like Eric Holmes and company working for you, including the brainchild of Anderson Cowan. I mean, I love whatever Anderson does. You excited, Bruce Berkey, for Loaded for Bear? Are you going to watch it first cut whenever he sends it to us?
Oh, I already saw an early cut too.
Oh, you saw an early cut?
Yes.
Are you joking? Hey, no. Anderson, I thought we were one of. I
don't know. He said, "Don't tell Greg," even if he asks. I guess I messed up.
And no, you did not mess up, Anderson. If I'm the last person you show that your early cut to and put Bruce and Eric ahead of me, you are doing the right thing, my friend. So that is it for Loaded for Bear. Good job, Eric Holmes, on that. And you have another thing called Site Interview coming up this week that I have to post up on our Cinematics YouTube. To review this movie. Okay. Anything you want to tease people?
Well, we'll talk a little bit about it in the review, but it's a biopic about Dr. Ming Wang.
Okay.
And so I got to interview the actor that played Ming Wang and Ming Wang himself. It was kind of interesting because when I went in, I was supposed to do the person that played Ming Wang present day and Ming Wang as a child. I was supposed to interview both those actors, but the younger actor is doing like a Karate Kid movie, so he couldn't make it. So when I went into the Zoom room, there was an actor that I recognized because I just saw the movie. And then there's this other person. I'm like, I don't know who that is. They didn't tell me. I didn't know if it was a producer or director. Like, I didn't know anything. And then thankfully the actor was like, and playing this guy over here. I'm like, oh, that's the real guy. Got it. Okay. And then so I asked the question, and like I still wasn't 100% sure, but when I asked the question in my head, I'm like, please be the actual guy, otherwise I'm gonna look like a complete idiot.
Oh no, you do a great job, Eric Holmes. I was gonna transition to complete idiot, but he's not a complete idiot. But I listened to your interview. I watched your interview with Sticky Fingers. I'm not saying you did a great job, but Sticky Fingers, I don't know what planet was he on during the? He
Oh, that
was
was
holding the
complete
camera
chaos.
like this, and I don't know what was going on.
It was absolute chaos, but at the same time, like at the end of that, like going into, because I'm a fan of Onyx just in general, and then kind of became a fan of Sticky Fingers, like kind of doing more research, like what else has he done other than Onyx, and kind of became a fan of him. And then so when we did that interview, like, yeah, I could not keep up for the life of me. I couldn't. I'm sure when Greg puts the interview up, it'll become apparent. But
I did put the interview up, and
it was,
actually,
like if you say meet someone, Bruce Campbell, and he kind of comes off as like a dick, but like a funny dick. So it's like, oh, it's kind of exactly what I was hoping for, and I loved it. That's kind of what it was like with Sticky Fingers. Like after the interview, I'm like, yeah, that's about what I expected. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Here's the thing that wasn't pretty awesome. The big culprit wasn't Sticky Fingers. It was Eric Holmes, because I actually was uploading the YouTube onto our channel, and Eric used a swear word. So I had to go back and actually listen to it one more time with Sticky Fingers.
I'm interviewing
I know. I'm kidding. I have to.
Onyx. Back up, mother. The Onyx is
Eric. I told Eric Holmes and Bruce Perky several years ago when we started Movie Mainline, and then we transitioned over with Anderson to Cinematics, to not use any sliver of personality or vulgarity on the show. We are a milquetoast, vanilla podcast that family show, right, Bruce? No shred of humanity or personality, just strict, right, Bruce? You're looking like you're gonna. Bruce is looking like he's gonna swear at me right now. Bruce, you want to say something? You're okay?
I'm fine. No problems here.
We're a family show that covers exclusively non-family movies.
Yeah, does not make sense whatsoever. What also does not make sense, actually.
Welcome to the porn cast. We're a family show, so we won't be cussing, but anyway.
The coffee table, like someone watched that and said their wife came in and they had to be like hiding it. Like
Bruce Perky mentioned the coffee table. What is it called? What it's in Spanish? La mesita del comedor. I don't know what the Spanish translation is, but thank you, Bruce, for mentioning the coffee table. We, as a team on Cinematics, I am speaking for Bruce and Eric right now. We got a little blowback from the Facebook group members who actually, because the coffee table is a movie I gave 3 stars to. I think Bruce gave 3 stars to. Eric gave 5 stars to. Eric loved the coffee table. Overall, though, I think at the baseline, we just said the coffee table is worth watching, just at least for once. And I don't know, Bruce, Eric, if you feel the same way. We got some members, they know us personally, so they were being kind, but I feel like several of them are thinking, I wasted my good money to watch the coffee table. F all 3 of you guys. I think that's if I could translate it. Yes, Eric Holmes.
As soon as we got done reviewing it for that show, I hit up Angie Clark immediately and said, hey, look, this movie's really good. Don't watch it. Just, I like spoiled everything for her. I'm like, this is what you're in for. And she's like, yeah, no, that's not for me.
Okay, Bruce, do you think it was our responsibility to we did warn people correctly in our review, right, Bruce? So maybe
I feel like I think I might have started my discussion of it with something like, I don't know who I can actually recommend this to or something like that. So
yes.
But I don't know if people always listen to that, because when the overall kind of feeling is positive in general and we're kind of saying good things about it, I think that overpowers the initial reservations and people just kind of go feet first into something they don't know what they're getting into.
I think what it was Greg didn't give it 4 stars and they're like, what is this movie?
Yeah, Eric,
I give it something other than 4. I must see what this is.
Okay, Eric, you saying that I give 4 stars to everything makes me seem like a compromised film review podcaster, and I have a lot of integrity, right, Bruce? Do I have a lot of integrity? Are you being silent, Bruce? No.
I'm just looking here and see what. Yes, you said when asked that question. I'm following my script like a telemarketer. When asked that question, say yes, Greg. You have full integrity. There you go.
Very quickly, Eric, before I get in, I just want to say Ken Cunningham, Facebook group member, he actually watched the coffee table and he hilariously blamed me. I think his wife was saying his wife caught him watching the coffee table and she was wondering what the bleep was going on. And he didn't blame Bruce. He didn't blame Eric. He blamed me. I will take the bullet for that, Eric Holmes.
I wonder what part she walked in on, though. Because like there's a couple parts, like if you walk in on it, it's not that bad. Because you don't have context of what it is.
Sure.
There's certain parts when a dog grabs a chew toy out from under the couch, be like, what the hell are you watching here?
Yes, we could go on and on about the coffee table. Just know, Google that movie right now. It's on digital, on demand. 3 stars for me. I believe 3 stars for Bruce Perky as well. If I recall, 5 stars for Eric Holmes. Tell us what you think of the coffee table if you dare take a stab at it. Props to Ken Cunningham, Mitch Burns, and some of our other Facebook members for giving a shot to the coffee table. Finally, before we get to our features, our Patreon picks. We're doing Patreon next week for our bonus episode. First pick is Eric Holmes for Outland. Bruce Perky was kind enough to do the poll for this month. He had, I think, Zombie 2 was up there, Nighthawks, and one other movie, which I forget. But the second movie that is our second pick for our Patreon pick for the year 1981 is the Sylvester Stallone film Nighthawks. So Outland and Nighthawks, the movie we are covering 1981 next week on for our Cinematics Patreon members. Okay, so Patreon members, thank you so much for supporting Patreon. Next week, and here's the big news. I think we alluded to it last week. Every week, we're going to do a box. One week, we'll do a box movie, and the next week, we will do a Patreon member assigned film that all three of us will watch. So before, Bruce and Eric used to do What's in the Box. Now that What's in the Box will be solely relegated to actors, filmmakers, directors, screenwriters who Eric interviews, and they recommend movies for us to put in the box. And then the following week will be an assigned Patreon member pick. So Patreon members who support us, hit us up with 1 or 2 movie picks right now on our Patreon feed. We will add them to the assigned weeks we review. So it should be very interesting. This is why Nighthawks went from the top of the list, because Patreon member Stephen Schrock, thank you, Stephen, actually picked Nighthawks for our second movie. So Outland, Nighthawks, Bruce, Eric, any comments on, are you guys excited to rewatch it or watch? What do you think of these two in aggregate? Bruce first.
It's been so long since I've seen Nighthawks. I have very fond memories of Nighthawks being kind of my memory is that it's a mix between kind of a crowd-pleasing cop buddy movie, but I also remember it being kind of grittier with, if I remember correctly, Rutger Hauer as sort of a terrorist kind of character. I might be remembering it wrong, but I remember it being a little harder hitting than you might expect, and I remember quite enjoying that. And then Outland, I don't remember much other than I said before, which is High Noon in Space with Sean Connery, which is enough for me to watch it again. So.
Okay, very good. Eric Holmes, do you concur with Bruce Perky on his assessment of Outland and Nighthawks?
So I remember Outland. I remember loving Outland, and I'm excited to watch it again. Nighthawks, I don't think I've seen the whole thing. I think I've seen like bits and pieces of it. Kind of like, those movies that you see like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but like through the whole of your life of the pieces, you probably saw the whole thing, but never front to back. That's kind of what Nighthawks is.
Okay. So again, check us out next week on Patreon. We're going to be doing those 2 movies. Now let's get to our featured flicks for our featured movies for the week of May 24th, Friday, May 24th. Before we get to our features, also coming out this week, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga in theaters. I think Bruce and Eric, are you both seeing it with your respective loved ones or friends or going solo? Are you guys both seeing the movie this weekend?
I'm seeing it with my respective self, I'm sure, but I'm excited for it.
Bruce?
I've got tickets tomorrow with my son and I to go watch it. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, Bruce and Eric and I will see it sometime this weekend. I haven't gotten tickets yet. We will do a quick mini review next week on Cinematics. Also, I don't know if Bruce or Eric are going to watch this movie. Netflix on Friday, May 24th, J-Lo's latest movie, Atlas. And Bruce, thumbs up. I don't know. What's that dry humor there?
Yeah, it looks like a really crappy, really terrible 1-star banger from Netflix. Gray Man with J-Lo is what I'm hoping for, but it looks like it might even be worse. So I'm definitely gonna give that a try for
to hate watch. Is it hate watch or actually dislike watch? Because hate being too much of a strong word.
It isn't really. See, it's hard to say. So I'm expecting a 1-star banger, hoping for a 1-star banger. See, the difference is it's not truly a hate watch, because if it's dumb, but really entertainingly dumb, then I'm enjoying it. Not on its terms, on the opposite of its terms, but I don't consider that really hating it. I hate it when it's just like so dull and mediocre that, speaking of Fury Road, mediocre, that then I feel like I wasted my time.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Wait. Excuse
you
me,
might want to check for the welts on your hand touching that hot
mediocre. You know,
Okay.
sorry, I wasn't quoting it properly with the Morton Joe's sound there.
Declarative sentence. Mad Max Fury Road is mediocre. Bruce Perky, is that what you're saying? Is that what you say? Do you really feel that was you're joking?
All of those who have lived in the Fury Road, they know what mediocre in that sense means.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
Okay. Cryptic. I don't know. Maybe I don't. I have to rewatch the Mad Max stuff. Hopefully, I'll watch all of it before Sunday comes. Look, finally, the Beach Boys. Simply the Beach Boys. It's a documentary on the Beach Boys. It's streaming on Disney Plus. No trolling here on my end. I love the Beach Boys. Pet Sounds is one of my all-time favorite albums. My 20s, the Beach Boys, especially the genius of Brian Wilson, was a big fixture of my lonely outcast life. I loved his music. Bruce or Eric, can you concur on any stuff? Beach Boys, Pet Sounds?
I can almost guarantee we'll hear some pet sounds during this podcast when the dogs are barking at a squirrel running up a tree outside.
Very good. Okay, very good tie-in. Bruce, what about Beach Boys, the genius of Brian Wilson?
To quote Fury Road, mediocre.
Mediocre on Pet Sounds, Brian. Okay, so we'll see what Bruce thinks of Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
That's going to be funny if they have a line in Furiosa where it's like, above average.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this above average? Let's get to our features right now. Actually, Eric and I did sort of a shadow review last week, just in case I'm recording from a hotel in this area called the San Ynez Valley. I didn't know if this recording would work. Apparently, Bruce and Eric can hear me all good, and I don't know, it works. So Darkness of Man, Eric, I hope you don't mind. We're going to do a quick mini review of this. It's currently out right now as we're recording. It's available on digital May 21st. On June 4th, it'll come out on DVD. It's directed by James Cullen Bresek, and it stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as a former Interpol operative. He lives in Koreatown, and he's sworn to protect the son of an informant who was killed 10 years ago. That informant was also so it seems like he was romantically involved with her, but she, for some reason, knew that she possibly would be killed, and she was killed. That's not a spoiler. That's the beginning of the movie. So in the years since, he has been taking care of the son, who's now grown up to be a very misbegotten, rebellious youth, understandably so, because he thinks his mother was either a drug addict or very corrupt. He has misapplied. He has no idea the true story of his mother, and that's sort of the fault of Russell Hatch, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, because even though he's the son's protector, he doesn't tell anything to the teenage son. That is the premise of Darkness of Man. When the son is now, he's sort of in his mid-teenage years, he is being recruited by his own family in Koreatown to join the family business, to become a criminal, but also there is a possible Russian influence who might be going into this Korean-led Koreatown gang turf, so there might be a gang war brewing. Caught in the middle is the son, and caught in the middle is Russell Hatch, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Darkness of Man co-stars Kristanna Loken from Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. She plays the concerned love interest of Russell Hatch. Eric Holmes, your thoughts on Darkness of Man? Is it a JCVD banger, or is it right down the middle for you?
I think it's a pretty good one. We recorded the thing, so I don't know what's already gonna be out there. And
it's not gonna be out there. We're this is new. This is fresh.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll just repeat myself.
Repeat yourself.
Recently, like within the last 10 years or so, pretty much ever since JCVD came out, Jean-Claude Van Damme's been kind of making this kind of turn towards like action adjacent, but leaning more on drama. And this is definitely one of those. It's more of a dramatic thriller than it is an action movie, although it does have some action in it. And you just get to watch, Jean-Claude Van Damme be introspective and kind of dark and brooding as he does in a lot of his recent movies. And I kind of like Jean-Claude Van Damme in that kind of wheelhouse. I love the cast in this. You got Zach Ward, who was, what's his name in A Christmas Story? Scott Farkas. Okay. Didn't even recognize him at all. Like I was like, oh, okay, there's the Russian guy. Oh wait, that's Zach Ward, son of it. All right, cool. Sticky Fingers shows up in it, not nearly enough, in my opinion. Should have been in more. In fact, in the interview, Sticky Fingers like, I should have had a fight scene with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I was like, yes, you should have. That would have been awesome. Shannon Doherty shows up for 5 seconds.
Plays a teacher.
And Cynthia Rothrock plays a nurse.
Yep.
And it's got like these like weird kind of cameos in it where it's like,
yeah,
oh, that person is that Cynthia Rothrock? What the? And then probably one of the best cameos ever in Eric Roberts. And I'll just leave it at that. Because if I say anything, it'll literally give away the entire cameo. But it was just like one of those, like I'm watching it, and the scene is like a nothing scene. Like you could have completely cut that scene out. But I'm just watching the movie, and it's like, oh, that guy in the background looks like Eric Roberts. Yeah. Oh, that is Eric Roberts. And then it moves on. But that's all like that's all like kind of fun stuff with the movie. The movie itself is, dramatic thriller. And it's a pretty good one. If you like Jean-Claude Van Damme and you like him in these kind of old guy dramatic roles, this is another one of those and worth watching. And if you don't like those kind of movies, then this isn't going to pull you into the fold, so to speak.
We also have to mention Darkness of Man is highly inspired by the film noir classics from the 40s and 50s, specifically The Maltese Falcon, The Lady in the Lake. There's a lot of talking in front of the camera stuff. And also there is a really nice visual flourish film sequence that's inspired by a Children of Men sequence where you actually see Jean-Claude Van Damme doing a fight through the POV of the little kid, the teenager inside a car. So you're actually inside the car with the kid and he's watching I think maybe in a circular motion. Or I don't know how they cut that, Eric. It's really good.
It's just you're basically watching the whole fight scene from the back seat of a car through the front window. It's weird to say because it's not the most like flashy fight sequence, but just the way they set the camera up, I loved it because it's it definitely does a great job. Imagine sitting in the back seat of a car and all of a sudden a fight breaks out between an old man and like a bunch of ninjas or dudes or whoever he's fighting. It's kind of like what the hell's going on? It definitely puts you in the spot. And I love that. I love that shot. I love that scene.
Yeah. It's a good straight ahead drama. And I think in your interview,
I don't want to oversell it because it's not like a big, a big set piece or anything. It's just you're watching two people fight from inside of a car, but just that context and setup, I think it helps that scene a lot.
Definitely. And it's not a throwaway showy sequence because it makes sense within the context of the story. So it's probably the movie's flashiest shot, but it works with it works within the context of the story. Darkness of Man, I enjoyed it. Had a good time. Digital May 21st, again on DVD June 4th. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. Eric, what about you?
I believe I gave it the same thing. Yes, 3.5. And that sounds about right.
3.5 stars for me and Eric for Darkness of Man. Next up is Kidnapped, the Abduction of Edgardo Montara. Bruce Perky, you got the review. I think, Eric, you also reviewed this as well. You saw this last minute, which is thank you for that. What's it about, Bruce, and does this movie work?
Kidnapped, I say it's a long title. It kind of just comes across as kidnapped when you're watching the movie, but I think because there's a million kidnapped movies out there, they probably had to add The Abduction of Edgardo Montara, directed by Marco Bellocchio, I guess you would say.
Bellocchio.
Yep, thank you. And basically this starts out, and this is also, once again, this is in the 1800s. You're in Italy. This seems like it's a multi-country production, but I think it's supposed to all take place pretty much in Italy. And it's based on a true story, so that's something right out of the gate. If you didn't know about the story, which I didn't, I guess it's in some circles, it's a known event historically. Basically, there's this Jewish family. They have a large family, mother, father, and I don't know, about 6 kids. And then one day, church/authorities show up. And
I think they're one in the same in this particular area.
Yes, exactly. I think this is during the Pope Pius, if I remember correctly. Pope Pius is kind of our de facto, I guess you'd say, villain in real life, probably, and in this story. The idea is that reports have come out that this Jewish child, Edgardo, which is probably like 8 years old, 6, 7, something like that at the time of the beginning of this movie, was baptized outside of the knowledge of the parents. And because he was baptized, well, he's no longer allowed to live with his family. And they say he's going to be coming with us. We're taking him away. He's a Christian now, so you don't get to keep him anymore. Doesn't matter what the parents think. And That's the impetus to the story. Once again, I'm historically fully ignorant on this whole thing, but basically he's taken off to near the Vatican area, and essentially it looks like they have a whole bunch of these kids that at some point or other have been baptized, either willingly or not willingly by the family's case. I think not willingly most of the time. Once that happens, they are basically in the fold and are going to be raised and re-indoctrinated as Christian children to the dismay of their Jewish families. So the rest of the movie is basically, is both inside the experiences of Edgardo growing up in the situation, and then outside the various efforts of especially the mother and father to try to get their son back. It's pretty simple, simple stakes, but big stakes. And that's the basic setup of the movie. I guess I would throw it over to Eric and kind of get his opinion of it. Then I can kind of bounce mine back too. But yeah, what do you think, Eric? What do you think of this movie?
I was enraged the entire time watching this, but like the good kind of enraged, the kind of enraged that engages me. So enraged, I guess. But yeah, the idea that, I mean, this is why you don't want to live in a theocracy, right? Hey, you're an atheist. What does it matter if we're ran by Christians or Muslims or whatever? I'm like, this is why. This is exactly why. I don't want to go really into the baptism at all, because that's definitely a plot point that gets resolved later in the movie. So you have the anti-religious kind of tone of this, which I love. But you also there's a little bit of courtroom drama towards the end, which I also love. Which
I totally thought of Eric at the time when that came up.
Which also made me pull my hair out. Oh, what was the Anatomy of a Fall? Mm-hmm. Where they go to the court scene? I'm just like pulling my hair out, going, what kind of kangaroo court is this? This doesn't make any sense. It's kind of similar, but at least this was like, in a theocracy. So I'm like, I get it. Like, they're not going to be fair because, reasons.
Eric, wait, hold on. I'm a Catholic. Is this a movie that Catholics would like? I don't.
I'm just. Well, that's kind of the thing of this movie. Because if you're looking at it from a Catholic, you're thinking, oh, look at these heroes. They're saving this child from hell. They're pulling him from the godless religion into the true
salvation.
Religion.
Right.
Yeah, we're offering this child salvation. But from another point of view, from the parents' point of view, they're like, no, they're pulling our child into hell because that's not the religion. Our religion is the real religion. My opinion, they're both, but whatever.
They're both what? They're both what, Eric? What are they both?
Ship.
They're both what? Okay, go ahead.
Ship's full of bowls.
Keep on going, Eric. Keep on going.
It's Noah's Ark, full of bowls.
I was all excited for a scissorless thing. Go ahead. Let me just write this down. Go ahead, Eric.
But like the whole back and forth, if you watch it from one perspective, this looks like, hey, this government and this group of people have saved this child. It sucks. It sucks that the rest of the family couldn't be saved. Not everyone can be saved, but at least they saved this one child. Yay. This is a great movie and very inspired. But if you're looking at it from a different point of view, it's just horrifying. Like, how can someone live in a theocracy like that? How can someone live in a place where the government can just take your kid because of some thing that we can't talk about? We can talk about a baptism, but that's about as far as we can go on it. But this thing that literally I could do something, the thing that was done, and that's enough that says, okay, we get your kid now. Like, how crazy is that? As much as it enraged me, I think that's a good sign, right? Because I was into it the whole time. I hated watching it. I was pissed off the entire time I was watching it. But I think from my perspective, that's what it's going for. But from a different perspective, someone's going to see it differently, but also like it for those reasons.
Bruce, did this movie intrigue you? Is it worth? I don't know what the running time is. I think it's definitely. Is it over 2 hours or something?
Not like 10 minutes, but yeah, I think it's 2 hours.
It's right about 2 hours, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's right about that time period. It's a pretty full story. In fact, I was thinking as I was watching this, one of my only complaints is there are two main time periods that we kind of cover in this movie. I'm going to kind of leave it vague. And I feel like the second time period is I guess, left a little bit shortened for my taste, because I kind of want to know, well, really the big thing about this is how is Edgardo experiencing this. And I think you have a pretty good feeling on the first time period, even though it's not there's not voiceover and stuff like that, which is good. But you can still figure out from the outside, like kind of where he's at. But the second time period with Edgardo, I wasn't as sure, although there are some pretty interesting hints about where he's at. I know, but the reason I'm bringing that up is this is one of those where I almost could have taken the second part to be a little longer, not a ton longer, but I could have gone with that. It was interesting enough. I agree with Eric as far as the real kind of point of this. I think in some ways is, I don't think the point of this movie is Catholicism is bad. Yay. I mean, you could look at this and see it, at least the Catholicism at this time, definitely in this way, was probably pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But I think the whole point is more something like when your dogma or your religion overpowers basic humanity, that's when your religion isn't working anymore. And I think that is something we see. I mean, pick Gaza.
I would push back. I would say that's when your religion is working exactly as intended.
Yeah, well, I think I probably tend a little bit towards you. But if you were to take the most generous point of view, let's just say that someone who's a true believer, I'd say, should be able to look at that and have that same sort of output as far as if your side, whatever that side is, and your point of view of the world is diminishing or erasing basic humanity in that sense, then something's wrong. Your dogma or your teachers or your whatever it is, something has gone wrong. And I think that's kind of the main point or kind of thrust of this movie. It's pretty good. I would say it doesn't go to that like crazy classic status to me because it's a little dry. And like I said, there's a little, I wanted a little more in that second part, but it definitely kept me intrigued throughout.
Okay. Opens in New York City, May 24th and Los Angeles, May 31st. Eric Holmes, what is your rating on Kidnap the Abduction of Edgardo Montara?
I think like normally this would be like a 4-star, but I'm gonna give it 4.5 just because I was pulling my hair out through most of it. Going, I want to reach to the screen and choke all of you. But yeah, it definitely got me engaged. I liked this a lot.
Oh, very, very good.
I'll say I appreciated this a lot, and I understood where it was going, and I was on board with it. But man, I was pissed.
Okay, Bruce Perky, your rating.
I am 4 stars, and I absolutely, as I was watching it, I was thinking that Eric would be a little higher than me for those exact reasons. I was thinking I could just feel him being triggered across the airwaves, and then when the courtroom scene came up, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a court in this too, Right. So yeah, 4 stars.
Eric's sweatpants are moving.
Okay, so that's 4.5 stars for Eric Holmes and 4 stars for Bruce Perky for Kidnapped the Abduction of Edgardo Montara. Again, New York City, May 24th and May 31st. Los Angeles. I feel very bad because Eric did not have time. He's been busy to see Dead Wrong. I told Eric Holmes this is an Eric Holmes movie, and I feel, okay, I'm going to say this. I should be giving this movie 3.5 stars or maybe 3 stars because this film, directed and written by Rick Bieber, it's one of those movies. I don't know if you guys remember those films from the 90s that would star maybe straight to VHS, maybe Michael Pare or Robert Patrick, Shannon Tweed, and then maybe several years later you'd see maybe Tom Sizemore, these type of movies. This Dead Wrong is a sexy crime thriller that is a throwback to those 90s films, and it centers on this total jerk of a human being played by Derek Smith, who decides his wife is pregnant. He's trying to make a lot of money with the mob boss. The mob boss is played by Chet freaking Hanks, who's actually really good in this movie. Chet Hanks. And so what happens is his husband, he still wants to be a bachelor. His wife is pregnant. His wife is played by Katrina Bowden. He concocts an operation where he can free himself from being a dad and actually having being a great single dad and all that stuff. He doesn't want to be a dad. So he concocts an operation with a corrupt mob lawyer played by Rob Schneider to make money and also be ultimately fatherless. Ultimately, this partnership goes south because there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of corruption involved. And yeah, that's the premise of Dead Wrong. It's currently now out on Blu-ray and digital via Mill Creek Entertainment. It's just a total out there thriller that if you're a fan of this type of genre, you're gonna enjoy it because there's a lot of violence. There's some, yeah, it's just one of those movies when in the 90s you'd see sex, violence, and some kind of sometimes the plot would be completely out of left field, and Dead Wrong, the plot is completely out of left field. Also, the characters, there's some characters who actually get some really good, interesting time as well. So it's not like Michael Mann's Heat. It's not on that level, definitely. But if you notice, if you notice, Heat had so many different characters. It's one of it follows the same structure. Like Dead Wrong follows the kind of the same structure of a Michael Mann's Heat, a True Romance, that type of stuff. But within the context of the 90s straight to VHS throwback thrillers that I used to dig. I'm going to give this a rating. If I really wanted to save whatever left I had of my rep, I would give Dead Wrong 3 stars, 3-star banger, or 3.5. I never give 3-star bangers. I should possibly give this movie 3 stars, or maybe at the most 2.5 stars. I just love this movie. This might be worse than the coffee table as far as people from our Facebook group members might come after me regarding Dead Wrong, but I just had a bleeping great time. Rob Schneider, if you're a fan, he's excellent as a lawyer. 4 stars. 4 stars, Dead Wrong. I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray. If it's not shipped out to me, if I don't get it from Mill Creek Entertainment, I'm gonna watch it again. I don't want to say what happens, but a lot of this stuff is completely just a little bit too much, and I loved it. I know, Bruce, you would probably give it 0 stars. The reason why, Eric, I was telling you should see it is because it's one of these films. I don't know if you would completely line on it as much as I did because it's just so wackadoodle crazy. So again, that is, yeah.
Isn't Chet Hanks? Isn't he the rapping Hanks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Chet Hanks and Corey Feldman should be like a cop buddy movie. I think that should happen.
And the funny thing about it is Chet Hanks is very good in this movie. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but he's actually quite convincing in Dead Wrong. And again, if you like Rob Schneider, he gives a very good performance as well. Wow, just a weird movie. And one of the more unique films I've seen in the last couple of years. That is Dead Wrong. Listeners, Cinematics group members, Patreon members, if you do have the stones or a couple bucks to watch it, please get back to me. I want to hear how wrong I am, or maybe if you are as weird as I am in movie taste, hopefully you will dig Dead Wrong. Now out again on Blu-ray and digital via Mill Creek Entertainment. This is not a paid review. I really enjoyed this movie. Bruce and Eric may fire me after this episode. Now, Eric Holmes, you got Sight. It stars Greg Kinnear. What is this movie about? Does it work? It hits theaters, specifically theaters, on May 24th. Currently has a Rotten Tomato score of 67%. I forgot to mention, as far as Kidnap, the Abduction of Edgardo Montara, it has an 84% Rotten Tomato score. Dead Wrong, which I just reviewed, as of this recording, has no Rotten Tomato score. So keep that in mind as well. But let's keep Sight in mind, Eric. What is this about in your review?
So this is a biopic about Dr. Ming Wang. It starts off with him as a kid, like in his teens, played by Ben Wang. I don't know that they're related or not, or probably just have a similar last name. I'm guessing it's common. And then Terry Chen plays Dr. Ming Wang in present day. And it kind of keeps going back and forth. Ming Wang wants to basically go to school and learn to become a doctor. There's some stuff going on. Military people it's weird. It doesn't feel like a military operation. It feels like a kind of an offshoot maybe. But either way, they keep messing with the school. So it makes it so he can't go to school. And he's having trouble with that. That military thing kind of goes away and he needs to take a class to go to college so he can become a doctor, but you got to take your test or whatever. This test happens in like a month. It's like, well, how do I get 2 years worth of school done in a month? I was like, well, we'll figure it out. And then they cut to present day. And I think actually he worked here in Colorado, but he was a doctor that developed a surgery to make blind people be able to see. And then so you get to see what he's doing now and then how he came to that. And it just kind of goes back and forth. But also, this is one of those faith-based movies. So this is kind of, what was that one? Was that one with
Cabrini?
Hilary Swank?
Ordinary Angels.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. I think I'm not a fan of propaganda in the faith-based movies, but the like with Ordinary Angels and this one, the faith-based stuff seems to be like in spite of God's best efforts to put his boot on your face, people rise up regardless. And so it's kind of a weird message in these kind of movies. But it was pretty good. And Greg Kinnear shows up. He's kind of Ming Wang's partner or like coworker or whatever. So he's in it quite a bit. And I like Greg Kinnear. I don't know if he's been canceled or whatever. I haven't seen him in a while, but I like it when he pops up on screen. This is kind of like one of those kind of coming up from the muck and fighting through it in spite of the odds and coming out. And the person it's based on, I mean, did great things. So good on him having a movie based on him. But at the same time, it's kind of, even though like the faith-based propaganda isn't there in full force, the schmaltz kind of is. It doesn't really dig it. Like we say, it doesn't have teeth. Not that I think this needs it, but it kind of, I don't know, felt a little vanilla through most of it. That said, I enjoyed watching it. I like the person it's based on.
Eric, what's your rating so I can put it in?
I go probably 2.5 on this one.
Okay.
It's an enjoyable 2.5, but again, this I think this story probably could have been a lot more. I don't know that exciting is the right word. I don't know. There was just kind of something missing, and I don't know what that thing is. It's like a 2.5, but I think this story could have easily been like a 5-star movie, and it's just not there, and I don't know what's missing.
All right, fair enough. That is Sight. Again, it hits theaters on Friday for Memorial Day weekend. 2.5 stars from Eric Holmes. Currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a rating of 67%. Now let's get to our recommendations. We have Roots So Deep. You want to do very quickly, Eric, and then do the review next week for this thing?
Yeah, I'll cover it more next week, but
Okay.
It's directed by Peter Bick. It's basically a movie about climate change, specifically how farms contribute to climate change, through like cow farts and how they do the land and whatnot. But this is it's 4-part, 3-part, 4-part. It's a miniseries.
4-part, yeah.
4-part docuseries. This does an interesting thing. It's not about, hey, this is what's wrong with the world. Doesn't that suck? This opens up with, this is what's wrong with the world, and this is a solution. Let's test it out and see if it works. The whole miniseries or docuseries is them trying out this hypothesis they have, and then doing science through it. And it's really interesting. I'll get into it more next week, but I would check it out because it's incredibly fascinating and interesting to watch.
Okay, 4-part series, Roots So Deep on VOD May 28th. Then we have a lightning round for the 500 movies that Bruce Purkey has seen. Whoa, before we get to Bruce, A Day in the Life, Sticky Fingers. After that interview, I mean, he gave you 16 minutes, little incoherent stuff with Sticky Fingers. Is A Day in the Life incoherent? It's currently streaming on Tubi, Canopy, and Stars. Should people watch this, Eric? It's like a musical opera rapper. What is it?
This movie's awesome. I love the hell out of this. So when I was going to interview Sticky Fingers, I was like, oh, he directed a movie. Cool. And actually, I found out just before I was going to interview him, and we had to push the interview to the next day. I'm like, well, this is perfect. I had plenty of time to watch A Day in the Life. So I did. And it started off really chaotic. The editing was like all over the place. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to like this. But wait, they just said, like, the one character said something and the other person rhymed. That was a weird. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And then I start noticing like the chaotic editing is going along with the beat of the score. Mm-hmm. And then I noticed that the people are talking along with the beat of the score. And then, they're rapping to each other. Like it didn't catch on right away mostly because I'm stupid. But this is kind of like a urban kind of drama of someone they're in a way of life and they're trying to get out of. So Sticky Fingers, his character, gets his girlfriend pregnant, and so he decides that, okay, well, I got a child coming into this world. I need to get my crap together and get out of this. So the whole movie is him, kind of like a Carlito's Way sort of thing. Like I try to get out and they pull me back in, that sort of thing. But it's not just a musical. It's like an opera. because there's no spoken dialogue. Everything's in rap, and even to the point where people are talking to each other, they'll go back and forth with like I'll say a line and then Bruce will respond with a line that rhymes. It's basically a whole album, a whole rap album, and then you get to watch it kind of like Pink Floyd's The Wall, but this one's not crazy. It's like an actual story. It was really interesting. I loved it. The cast is, we got Faison Love from Last Stop in Yuma County, Big Worm. John Schnepp. I don't know if anyone knows who John Schnepp is.
Schmoedown, right? He passed away 2018, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew him mostly from the Schmoedown,
okay.
But he was also the editor on this, and he's got a little cameo. He shows up in this. Obviously, Sticky Fingers. Michael K. Williams is in it. Mekhi Phifer's in it. Oh, geez, what's his name? Omar Epps. Like the cast is just crazy in this. I don't know what the draw to hip hop which was. It's like this movie sucks, so let's watch it. But it's like hip hop. So this is like a hip, and this movie's like really rough around the edges. Like you can tell it's very low budget and the resources were limited. But the creativity and the way that this is put together is just mesmerized me, and I absolutely loved the living crap out of this. And I guess he's got another one that I haven't seen yet. And in the interview, he says he's got a third one that'll like round out his hip hop trilogy. I can't wait. A Day in the Life. Check it out. It's on Tubi. You can watch it for free. Hey, if you don't like it, fair enough. But I'm just saying, I love the hell out of this.
Day in the Life, streaming Tubi, Canopy Stars. I'll be biased. I'm so glad that Sticky Fingers gave us, the cinematics crew, specifically Eric Holmes, some 16 minutes of his time to actually do the interview. After watching the interview, I don't think A Day in the Life is probably going. I'll probably rewatch Matt LeBlanc's Ed before I get to A Day in the Life, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll. After that, I was just so disenchanted with that because it was so out of left field. Maybe I'm in a wrong space of mind. Who knows? Maybe one of these days I will see A Day in the Life. If Bruce Purkey eventually decides to see it, just for the heck of it, I might have to actually call his bluff and watch A Day in the Life. Okay, so you know what? I will watch A Day in the Life when Bruce Purkey watches A Day in the Life. Eric Holmes, your rating on Day in the Life.
This is getting 6.9 banger. A Day in the Life.
This is worse than my Dead Wrong review. Yeah?
A Day in the Life was Hamilton before Hamilton.
Okay.
This movie is a trailblazing movie. I loved it.
Unbelievable.
And they did it with so little, and so much creativity went into it. And yeah, it's good stuff.
Do you think A Day in the Life might actually be better than Hamilton? I don't know. You've never seen Hamilton, right? So who knows?
I've seen Day in the Life twice. I've seen Hamilton once.
Okay, my goodness. So, okay.
And come at me. I don't care. Someone's gonna watch Day in the Life and like, you're crazy. Hamilton's way better than. You know what? Maybe. But without Day in the Life, you don't get to Hamilton. Without Sticky Fingers, Lin-Manuel Miranda is just kind of, doing his thing.
Eric Holmes' roots.
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe he doesn't even come up with Hamilton. It's Sticky Fingers.
6.9
mother effers. The Onyx is here. He made a bomb-ass movie.
Okay, 6.9 stars from Eric Holmes. Did you get the Google Doc? For some reason, I'm doing all the ratings here. Roots So Deep. You haven't done a rating yet, okay? So for Roots,
I've been putting them in.
You have? How do you know? Oh, it's weird.
Yeah, for some reason, Darkness Man.
Really?
Is there a second Google Doc? Maybe?
Yeah, there's a Google Doc. Is there? I don't know. I have a different Google Doc right now that's going on at 2:53.
Well, hey, listeners, you get to see how the sausage is made.
Okay, so we'll see. Show me your Google Doc there after this because I've been putting it in, but maybe we'll figure this out. I don't know why Bruce Purkey is running out the show with the tangled web we weave with Madame Web. Look, American Fiction, yes. we all know. I was a little bit disappointed with American Fiction, Prime Video, MGM Plus. Bruce, just your Rorschach reaction to it. It's highly praised. Some people didn't like it. I mean, some people liked it, but not as much as the actual rating and the love that it deserved. Supposedly, I was a little bit disenchanted with the ending, though I thought it was clever. I don't know. Your overall thoughts on American Fiction?
American Fiction, I liked it. I didn't love it. I say I'm probably 4 stars as just right out of the gate. What I did like about it was I think it's better as just a character study and a family drama, comedy 100%. Drama.
Yes.
Than it is as a social satire. And I think people are leaning on the social satire side of it, which is just kind of the impetus for what he does. And I think they're kind of leaning away from the family side of it. And I think
best part of the
to
stuff.
Me, the stuff that works best for it is more akin to The Holdovers than it is to, I don't know, pick your social satire about race in America. Now, that being said, there are some, I think the idea of for no one who knows what's going on here, if they haven't read anything about it or don't know what this movie is, basically the character Jeffrey Wright plays, Monk, he is this respected author who writes non-pandering novels about just the experience of his characters. But he finds himself overshadowed with much more successful authors that take the quote black experience and always condense it down into some sort of trope, misery porn, that kind of thing, suffering. It's always a poor mom and kids getting into crime or blah 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 blah, right? And he's sick of that. So the whole concept is that he, under a pseudonym, as kind of almost like half a joke, an angry joke, he writes a novel of that sort, and of course it becomes hugely popular. And that's kind of the satire side of things. And it's fine, but it's also really kind of broad and obvious. It's sad to say, but it's almost as obvious as the things that he is, making fun of. So, but the actual, like you said, the actual drama, the actual lightly comedic drama of his family is great. And it's amazing. Honestly most of the movie. So I think if you go in it with that point of view, I think you'll have a really good time.
Bruce, the ending of the social, the ending, the social satire ending, if it was just about, like you said, social satire, and it was that, it would totally work. But the end, which is clever, undercuts it, and they undercuts all that stuff. My God.
Yes, because what the ending does is it doesn't resolve one way or the other the story you really care about. Because the story you really care about is him and this kind of budding romance he has, and his relationship with his mother and his brother. That stuff is so fantastic. I wanted to end there and not end with the other stuff. But that being said, I still give it 4 stars because I think the experience is good and the characters are rich.
And we have to give it fair. I have to be a little bit fair about the ending of American Fiction. The ending of American Fiction, actually, in lieu of the whole social satire stuff, it does make sense.
Yes.
It really does make sense, because if you're trying to put the social satire in front of the family drama, I totally understand that. But there is such a jewel with that family and the sense of loss and trying to rebound and reconnect with your family members and a person you might love. I don't know.
It could have even ended the way it did, but had one more beat, one more quiet scene with him and Coraline, or him and his mom, or him and his brother. And it would have just given it that little extra spin that you needed, which we didn't mention. Jeffrey Wright, of course, but we also have Tracy Ellis Ross. You have Leslie Uggams, Sterling K. Brown, Eric Alexander. Lots of great people in this. So I would say, it's on Max or Prime. Sorry, take it back. Prime. It's on Prime. Go check it out. I think you can have a good time with this. It's worth your time. It's still, I think.
Again, our complaints for American Fiction, I think, to reframe this, I give it 4 stars as well. Let me put that in here. If for some reason, Eric, we're gonna have to. I don't know what I did with the Google Doc. This is my fault, but I'm gonna give it 4.
I found the one you're on now.
Okay. What was Google Doc were you on? Were you on this?
The one Bruce emailed to me.
Bruce, you sent it. Bruce, you sent it a Google Doc as well.
It's fine. I'm on the same one you guys are on.
Okay,
but
right.
I was gonna say, while you're doing that, people that like the satire are gonna love it even more. I think it's gonna go even higher.
Okay, and also my complaint, your complaint with American Fiction, we both give it 4 stars. Our complaint is because it's not the best movie of the year. It's almost like we want American Fiction. We want it to be the top 3 or top 5 from last year, and we're sort of in a weird way docking it for just being a very above average to near excellent film. I mean, it's one of those things, right?
It's like what I had was so good. The stuff that was good was so good. You're like, just know what's so good about this, but otherwise, whatever.
And look, at least Hollywood credited the family drama part with the Sterling K. Brown Oscar nomination. Okay, it's just a beautiful, sublime movie that also has to have that social satire. I understand that, but again, it's one of those things. Oh, missed opportunity, but still a very good movie. American Fiction, 4 stars for me. And Bruce, speaking of 4 stars, Bruce is going to wrap up this episode currently on Netflix, streaming, flourishing. This is just like the light at the end of a dark tunnel. Madame Web is so good. I'm going to call it Madame. I'm going to call it Madame Web. Madame Web. It stars in it Dakota Johnson, and Bruce is going to say why people are not getting this movie, which is probably really well written, great tension, beautiful addition to the MCU universe. Yes, Bruce, take it away.
Madame Web was what I wanted Morbius to be. And I watched Morbius, I knew it was going to be terrible, and I wanted it to just be fun and just ridiculous. And Madam Web, to me, hit that spot so well.
Good.
And this is what you're talking about earlier. You're like, not a hate watch, because I really have a boring, uninteresting time with lots of the superhero movies. They're just like formulaic. They don't strike my interest. They don't make me feel much of anything. I feel myself getting drowsy. I just want it to end. Now, realistically, you could want Madam Web to end, but I had fun with Madam Web because it was so ridiculous and so silly. I mean, it does so many things so wrong in so many amazing ways. First of all, okay, Dakota Johnson. She might be the actor that most varies in her quality of production based on who she's paired with. Because boy, oh boy, some of her movies like this one, if you just showed me this and what 50 Shades of Grey, I would say this person can't act their way out of a bag. But then you see her in other movies and she's great.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Peanut Butter Falcon, yeah. What was the other movie? I can't remember the name of it, with the guy that did Shithouse.
Smooth.
Yeah, Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Super charismatic, super empathetic. You just love her character in those movies. And then in this movie, it's like, she might as well be like just reading the notes, like, now my character will say, this character.
Suspiria, very good, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah. She was okay in that. She was pretty good. But anyway, in this, I'm not going to go through all of it. It's just it has egregious product placement. It's got more exposition than I've seen in just about any movie. It's nonsensical. It has a basic plot device where she can see some sort of seconds in the future. It also does kind of what some of those old sitcoms used to do, where they'd have that special episode where they introduced a bunch of new characters to start a spin-off. This whole movie feels like it's just there to create a spin-off. It's
a placeholder, is that what you're saying? It's almost like a movie placeholder.
Yes.
Okay.
And just so many plot elements that are just so nonsensical and so ridiculous. And boy, was it a lot of fun to watch. Yeah.
Okay, it was fun to watch because that it's just such a wrong movie. One of those things. Bruce.
Oh yeah, I laughed a lot. So if I'm laughing a lot, I'm having a good time. It's not meant to make me laugh, but it did. It made me laugh in the ways that the Marvel movies don't intend to. They always give you the little jokey jokes. This was not why I laughed at this movie.
So it's fair to say, Madam Web, you've had more fun with this movie than a lot of the MCU titles that are highly praised.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Fair. I'll even get Eric on board with me. I liked it more than The Winter Soldier.
Eric, your thoughts on Madam Web? Did it work for you?
I think I covered this already.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, you did? I forgot.
Yeah. I can't remember what stars I gave it. It wasn't good.
Yeah, no. This is 1-star banger, by the way.
Okay. I already wrote that like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, this sounds like Bruce is going down 1-star banger territory.
Well, Eric, if you recall, is it just worth, I guess from this 1-star banger from Bruce, he said, if you're in a certain kind of groove, it's worth watching. Was it a worthwhile watch for you just on that level of?
I thought it was stupid, but it was also boring. So I just didn't even like. I didn't even like it on that level. It was just kind of like, well, got that project done. Moving on to the next piece of homework.
Okay.
You know what? A Day in the Life is free. You can just watch it, and it's fine. And it's I had a lot more fun watching A Day in the Life than Madam Web.
Bruce, was there anything? Yeah, Bruce, was there? I dare you, Bruce. By the way, I seriously, I dare. If you watch it, I will watch A Day in the Life. Madam Web, Bruce.
Put it in the box.
No box. That's only directors and filmmakers. Okay, so anyways,
I directed Look Evil.
No fingers. No what?
I directed Look Evil.
No proof until you've shown it to
us. So anything good about Madam Web? Anything good? Like literally without saying that it was so fun because you were laughing, 1-star banger. Was there any positive element where you said, this is seriously an addition? The coloring? I don't know what. No. Okay, no. But 1-star banger from Bruce Perky. Tell us what you think of Madam Web. Currently streaming on Netflix. Eric does not remember his review, but I think
I barely remember the movie.
Okay, it might be just barely.
I remember something exploded towards the end, and
wow.
I think they're on a train at one point. I don't know.
Oh yes, they were.
Now we are ending our episode with a what's in the box pick for next week. By the way, our week next week is going to be packed. Let's see if hopefully this what's in the box pick will be good for all of us to check out. Yeah. You know what? I am definitely going to support you on this, Bruce. So
wait, I have to pick one though that was picked by a director, right?
No, yeah.
Because I have not stocked my box, like unstocked it either. So
okay,
we'll see what I get
okay,
here.
you know what? I'm going to open up the Google Doc and I'm going to see what's going on with the box. Let's see. Keep on. Go for it.
Oh no! Oh my God! I don't think I can do this.
Try it.
I don't think I can do this one.
Do it. What is it?
Well, it was suggested by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay. Oh no, he's Don't Look Up. We already kind of saw this already. Okay, so keep on moving. Keep on moving.
Eric's like, yes, you must watch it again.
Yeah, keep on moving.
Neil deGrasse Tyson says it. We do it. We're watching Don't Look Up for next week.
I can't do it.
Okay, let's.
Dude, you literally just watch Madam Web on purpose. You can watch Don't Look Up again.
It's Joseph Bridges. Sorry, Joseph, I can't do it.
Sorry, Joseph. Look, Bruce, in fairness, give it 2 more chances. If not, you and I we're gonna have to watch Don't Look Up again.
No, that thing's like 2.5 hours long.
It's okay. Oscar nominated Don't Look Up.
Oscar nominated.
Called it.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Wait, this is great pod here we're doing. Okay, this is suggested by, I don't know who this is suggested by. I can't read my own little writing here. Okay.
Oh no.
Lisa.
Yes, that's one.
Coca.
Yes. Okay. What is
Lisa
it from
Coca.
The Good Ones or whatever that? I think that was
Winter Sleep.
Okay, Lisa from that works. Winter Sleep from Lisa Akoka. Eric interviewed her maybe about
2014.
Okay, Winter Sleep. Why are you saying, oh God?
He said winter and I got scared. I was like, please don't say soldier. Please don't say soldier.
All right.
It would have been the gods, the MCU gods getting back at us for that one.
Lisa Akoka from one of the co-directors of The Worst Ones. I believe Bruce saw that and Eric saw that. Eric loved The Worst Ones as well. Both of them really loved The Worst Ones. Lisa Akoka.
Yeah, let me check real quick where that's streaming at, because
Winter Sleep.
That was a really good one, and we shouldn't just.
Okay, well, we'll see that. Okay, so Winter Sleep is our next.
I think people should definitely check that. Amazon Prime, Apple TV, rent it for $4.99. Google Play $3.99.
You're talking about The Worst Ones, right? You're talking about The Worst Ones.
Yes. Yeah, The Worst Ones. That's like one of those movies that, like, I remember came out. We really loved it, and then it just kind of disappeared. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back in a bit.
Bring it back. I have not seen that movie, but hopefully Winter Sleep will be available for streaming. We'll see what happens, and if not, then I'm not going to say Don't Look Up again, but we'll figure something out.
Don't Look Up. In my brain, that's the box pick. So
okay, look here. I will meet you guys halfway. If Winter Sleep is not streaming, yes, Bruce.
I have the solution.
Okay.
If Winter Sleep is not streaming, instead of Don't Look Up, you and I will watch A Day in the Life.
Oh yes. Okay. If Winter Sleep is not streaming, Bruce Perky and I will watch A Day in the Life. Oh,
that I think is a much better solution.
Okay, Bruce, you're the boss of the box. So you and I, Bruce.
Yes, Malcolm.
Okay.
I'm the boss of you.
Sticky Fingers tried to put A Day in the Life in the box, and I told him I was already going to watch it, so just pick something else, and he did.
Here's the thing, Bruce. I will let you decide. It is available on Canopy, which you cannot have in your neck of the woods. I have Canopy. So you could either rent Winter Sleep for $4, okay, Bruce, on Apple TV or YouTube, or you and I will watch A Day in the Life. You will pick. I am fine with doing A Day in the Life.
I am a sadistic a-hole, so I say we have to watch A Day in the Life.
Okay, listeners.
That's a good movie. What the hell are you guys?
Okay, here's the thing, folks.
Crapping on the great name of Sticky Fingers.
Okay,
he came
folks.
on the show. Granted, he was complete chaos, but he was fun chaos.
Listeners,
he made a banger movie, 6.9 star banger.
Do I need to put a poll up there for people to vote?
Folks, the cinematics. Okay, listen. If you guys are listening to
people watch Hip Hop Witch. And they told other people to watch Hip Hop Witch. I watched Hip Hop Witch. That movie is garbage. Day in the Life.
Okay.
Eric.
So this is what's going to happen. Okay. Look,
Greg really doesn't want to watch
Cinematics listeners, if you're listening to this podcast, Anderson and I created this back in late 2015. We are now in 2024.
We are ending it now based on this.
Anderson Cowan has...
And it all built to this so we could watch the brilliance that is Sticky Fingers.
Cowan has moved on. He's doing Loaded for Bear. Eric's working with him on that film and doing the titles, as he mentioned.
I'm a filmmaker. I should know. Day in the Life is great, but go on. Sorry.
Okay. Anderson Cowan, co-host TFE, one of my best friends. Love him. I like Bruce and Eric more now because doing cinematics with me, not Anderson. I hate you, Anderson. Just kidding. I love you, Anderson. Now, here's the thing. In 9 years, I don't know. This might be the end of the show because I just mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned the coffee table and a couple members of our Facebook group. They just went a little bit ballistic on us. I've been looking at our YouTube reviews and people are going off on us for actually loving, what's that movie? Eric, Jim Cummings movie. Bruce, what was it? The Last Stop
in Yuma County?
Yeah, someone said, I can't read my eyes. It's a glaucoma. This person said, masterpiece. It's not even good. It has more plot holes in it than a brick of Swiss cheese. So many stupid decisions.
First of all, Swiss cheese doesn't have plot holes. So there's your plot hole. You're wrong.
Okay, so
get out of the comments. You're ruining it.
I feel like Richard Widmark and John Wayne at the movie The Alamo, everyone's coming in against us. And Eric right now is last bastion here with this movie called the Sticky Fingers movie.
A Day in the Life.
Okay, A Day in the Life. Here's the thing. Patreon members, we've been trying to get you guys to be our Patreon.
Sticky Fingers. We're going. Sorry.
Okay, Patreon members, look, thank you for being part of Patreon. Okay. We've been trying to do Patreon for a while. We're trying to grow that. We're trying to grow our cinematics YouTube. I have one ask. Forget Patreon right now. Forget subscribing to our Cinematics YouTube channel. Forget about joining our Cinematics Facebook group. Bruce and I are on a mission to watch A Day in the Life. If you have any shred of love for cinematics, Bruce and I, especially Eric, would like you to go with us on a fantastic journey, not Coolio style. We want to go on. What is that guy's name? What is it? What is it, Eric? What is
Fantastic Voyage.
Fantastic Voyage. Look, here's the thing. Please, I screw Patreon, screw everything. Please, the next 7 days.
This is a family show. Watch your language, buddy.
Yes, I meant screw SCRU. Look, A Day in the Life. Please watch with me and Bruce. It's currently streaming. Go on justwatch.com. Look up A Day in the Life. Eric Holmes gave it 6.9 stars. If there is that 1% chance that this movie is brilliant, you're going to be thanking Eric Holmes. Hopefully we're right. Hopefully Eric's right. If we're wrong, we're going to have a huge blowback. So the caveat, and we're mentioning caveat here. The caveat is, please, before you watch this, watch Eric's interview with Sticky Fingers on our Cinematics YouTube channel. That is a sight to behold. I will eat my, Eric, if I'm completely wrong and I watch A Day in the Life and I feel that it's brilliant. Final thoughts, Bruce Berkey, on A Day in the Life. Are you excited to watch it? What about the call?
Yes. Strangely, yes. I am excited to watch it. I'm actually more excited for you to watch it than I am excited to watch it for myself.
Eric Holmes, are you excited when I'm going to literally almost literally be eating crow next week on A Day in the Life?
Sticky, if you're listening to this, probably not. You got better things to do. You got to finish off the hip hop trilogy.
He's too busy shaking his iPhone camera during the interview. So
no. Don't let Greg and Bruce. They don't know. They don't know like you like I do. I love you. I love your movie, and I legitimately think everyone that doesn't like it just misunderstands it. So yell at them. I'm on your side, buddy. And hip opera trilogy. Let's get it done. Starts with A Day in the Life. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I guess watch Madam Web again. Cinematic Strike 1, The Coffee Table. Cinematic Strike 2, Dead Wrong. Cinematic Strike 3, possibly. Winter Soldier. Oh, A Day in the Life? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, Eric Holmes will save us next week. Eric Holmes, you had your last thoughts, final thoughts from Bruce Berkey, as always. Oh, nothing. I have nothing to say. This is you no, go. Okay, I'm sorry, guys, for that diatribe. Please, if we mean anything to you, please watch A Day in the Life with us and tell us what you think. And Eric, I will be apologizing to you. I hope I'm apologizing to you next week after this Sticky Fingers diatribe. Greg, don't apologize to me. Apologize to Kirk Sticky Fingers Jones. That's who you need to apologize to. And with that, as a genius, and you will sue.
You must learn. I must learn. We all must learn.
Hamilton before there was a Hamilton.
Oh, wow. Amazing, Eric Holmes. We will see you next week here on Cinematics. And, of course, here's Claire.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining Cinematics.